you might have this problem. But we're gonna fix that with $12 in Hobby Lobby stuff. Where you going, Shanna?
Hobby Lobby.
All right, you guys might remember this truck. This is our tow truck, basically. This is what we use a lot of times to move vehicles around, travel across the country. And I even decided to smoke a deer when I was with our friends Graham and Kate in the front end. That's how it's got the eBay front end on it. Today though, this thing needs some maintenance, so we gotta work on it. We're gonna get it in the shop, see what we can do. Got a few tricks. And we're gonna take the Smoke Show's heartbeat donor down here to Intellitech College in Albuquerque, New Mexico. One of the things about your vehicle when you're hauling stuff is that it wears down your brakes. It's hard on the vehicle. This thing has 216,000 miles on it. Obviously it has a new front clip and a few other things. One of the things I found out though is I don't think Ford uses the little squeal stoppers on the brake pads to let you know when your brakes run out, because my brakes never squealed, they never gave me anything. A couple weeks ago, I changed them out with just some cheapies temporarily because that's how it looked. It also totally destroyed my rotors. So I'm gonna do brakes. If you guys have been following me since I was on Bleepin' Jeep, then you remember that I built a crawler hauler out of an old Ford that I got off an auction. I had $5,000 in it, but one of the things that I did was power stop brakes. Not only because they work so much better than normal brake pads, but they actually are somewhat affordable for us regular DIY type people that are trying to have quality brakes. Thank you, huh?
You're welcome.
Wow. Nothing like eating some rust.
Oh my goodness.
All right. This rotor's not bad. So just like I was saying with the front, I didn't touch the rears. I just did that to temporarily be able to stop for a day because all of a sudden it started grinding. And sure enough, there is no squelch things on here to warn you when your pads are bad on these new Fords. You can actually see the cutout here for the rivet. That means it was just getting ready to go metal on metal and destroy another rotor, which is crazy to me. Like, hey, if your brakes are bad, you're gonna need pads and rotors. Like, it drives me nuts. All right, so cool thing about these brakes, they come with all the supplied hardware that you're gonna need to do them. Plus, once I put these on, I'm probably not gonna have to worry about the brakes for the rest of the life of this truck anyway. Knowing how long the stock ones lasted, I would say that I'll be even in better shape with these because they come with drilled and slotted rotors that are gonna keep things cooler. I think it's on there tight. Now with the cap off the master cylinder, I can push the brakes back in without having to fight them as much. So it's kind of hard to see this because of the lighting and everything else, but I have the old brake pad. You come in here, you can pinch this down and you can push these pistons back in. If you don't have a big pair of channel locks, you can also take a C-clamp, put it through here, clamp it down, it'll push the pistons in. I like to use the old brake pad because I can get both pistons at the same time. Something like that. The mounting bracket that actually holds your caliper has these little slide guides in here, and this is what allows your brake to move in and out to actually stop. Now this one works fine. A lot of people don't ever check these. This one is completely locked up. I can't move that at all, which means it is full of dirt and rust. I need to pull these out, see if I can clean them up and fix them, which they just have these little boots on here. You can pop the boot out and then pull it out. But I gotta fix this because otherwise I'm gonna have my brake pad just wear out. A lot of people forget to check this part of it when they change their brakes out. All right, so that's how it should look. This one isn't budging at all. I can't even get it to wiggle that way. Wow. Ugh, man. That's not good at all. Might have got it to budge a little bit. This thing's probably gonna have to take some heat, so I'm gonna try to salvage this little rubber boot, see if I can pull it off over this thing. All right, yikes. Yeah, that's gonna need fire. Oh. Oh man, still not budging. Let's see if I can tap it that way a little bit, but we've got to get this out somehow. It's winking. All kinds of grossness coming out of that. We've moved a whole 1/4 of an inch. Yeah. Woo! We win. That's gonna be hot. Make sure this doesn't ever happen again. I'm gonna try to use this anti-seize without getting it all over me. We all know how this stuff works. You touch one thing with it, next thing you know, you're covered everywhere in your body with it. There we go. That looks nice. Now I swear, I literally only touched the end and put it on the front. Yeah, look at my gloves. Covered in this crap. I can't get it off. Glad I wore gloves though. One of the other things that I really like about Power Stop is they label which rotor goes where. This says rear driver's side. I agree with this thought process. Your brake rotor's going forward, you're allowing the heat to exit out of these holes. Now I've seen other theories that say you want your rotor this way, so it's going forward, you're sucking air into it, but I don't think that's true. I think that you want the heat to disperse, not to bring cold air in, but you want to bring the heat out. I agree with Power Stop sticker saying this way. Well, that's gonna be 1,000 times better. I gotta do the other 3 now. If I come across anything weird though, I'll show you. Now here's some of the magic I wanted you to see up front here. Before I even pull the rotor, it was bad. Yeah, that's not good. Now, you can see here where I took my sanding disc and just ground down on this to try to salvage the rotor. The only reason I did this and did these pads is because these are like cheap $19 pads, and I just wanted something to get me through while my Power Stop brakes were on order, because I know that they're gonna be better, they're gonna be cooler, they're gonna stop better. Like, all the things are better about them. I didn't want to go back through and just get new stock rotors that are now destroyed and some pads that are gonna just have hot brakes, not stop as good, and everything else. So that's kind of why. I can also tell you when you do something like that, your brakes pull. Like, I'd hit the brakes and it'd pull off to the passenger side. I didn't really have a choice if I wanted to upgrade to a better pad and rotor. So I'd suggest doing this before out of nowhere you just start getting a grinding noise, because like I said, Ford designed these brakes where they don't have a squelch stopper. So unfortunately, that's just the way it is. So this is kind of a bummer. You look at this, those old pads that were wearing out in the rivet itself, they actually punctured a hole in the piston on my brake cylinder here. So look at this. That is leaking right now as I just compressed it. Which means now I gotta go to the store and get a caliper. Fortunately, they should have calipers at the store. Bummer. Well, because they're gonna charge me a core charge for it, I'm gonna go ahead and pinch this brake line off down here. Only because it's a rubber brake line will I do that. If it was a steel one, obviously I wouldn't do this. But now we can go ahead and pull this off and take this in and get another one. Darn skis. Well, it's a good thing I brought the other one in. That's a $55 core charge if you didn't have the other one. That looks way better. Now I just have to bleed it. Fortunately, I think because I blocked off this line, I should only be able to bleed this one, and it should be good, but we'll see. All right, so I hopefully don't put air back into the system. I'm just gonna vacuum suck this thing out. Get all the air out of there. Give me that brake fluid. There it is. All right, that worked out a lot better. Now that I got the majority of the air out, I'll have Shanna pump the brakes a couple times, and then we'll cycle it a couple more times and just make sure we get all the air out.
Hold. Down.
Okay, pump. Okay, I had no bubbles there. Is it pretty stiff?
It's pretty stiff, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna call that good then. And there's our fluid. Saved every bit of it. All right, those are all done. Now we just need to go ahead and pump the brakes a couple times, make sure all the calipers collapsed because we pushed them out, and then we'll check the brake fluid. We'll be topped.
Okay, so this truck has airbags. Now, if you have airbags or maybe air shocks in the back to help bring up your ride on a tow truck, this thing continues to leak. And a lot of times it's a very, very small leak because they're just little tiny rubber lines that they just don't hold very well. Trick to that, pull your valve core, get some of the slime. I'm sure you guys have probably seen something like this. Put it on your setup and pour just a little bit of that slime in there. Now what that's gonna do is that's gonna find that fine little leak. Then we can put this back in, we'll fill it back up. That helps prevent those leaks, helps stop them anyway. I've done this a few times with pretty good luck. That simple. The ooze. Am I gonna turn into a Ninja Turtle? It'll find the leak. Oh yeah, there it is, it found it. And we now got our ride back. Next thing I need to do here is fix this. If you have a vehicle that has probably over 100,000+ miles on it, you might have this problem. Mostly from sliding in and out. But we're gonna fix that with $12 in Hobby Lobby stuff. Dang, this foam's made in the USA. So this is what I got. A roll of gray thread that's like, I think this was like 50 pound or something like that. So it's supposed to be a little bit stouter. Got some hooked needles. There's some curved ones so that I can come through here a little easier. I got some straight ones if those are too thick, and some foam. Perfect. Now, if I was super worried about it, I could go ahead and get some 3M spray adhesive, spray it in there and keep it, but I think it's gonna stay in there pretty good. Now I just need to sew it up. Bet you guys didn't know I had sew skills, did you? I really don't, but when Shannon and I first got married, we didn't have a lot of money, so I had to learn how to save all my stuff, including socks. What I'm gonna do is run this all the way down the same length so it's like double lined. I think it'll work a little bit better, be a little bit stronger. The thread's cheap, so I don't really care how much I use. Might not be able to go through that pad. Probably have to come down here lower. That's okay. Cool. Now we got a starting point, and I can sew it down. And there it is. Bam. I'm not an amazing sewer, but I know how to sew. You know who would have been better? Her. But she wasn't in here, so...
I was cooking.
She was cooking.
I was cooking.
So I went ahead and did it, and it's done. Now, the foam's back. It's not gonna go shooting out. You see how I got pieces of it everywhere down here. Now we can take this sweet motor down to Albuquerque to Intelitech College. All right, we're getting close to Albuquerque, but we had to stop at the Warrior gas station. They have amazing burritos and stew. Shanna got the green chili stew. If you've never had New Mexico green chili, you need to have New Mexico green chili.
It's the best.
It's fire. Kind of literally and figuratively. Can we turbocharge a supercharger? Double down? Compound boost. I'm here at Intelitech College in Albuquerque. This is Billy. He is instructor here. These guys are all going to be building this 4.3. They're gonna make it rad. I asked them if we could supercharge a turbocharger. No, not really. We're not gonna do that. We're just gonna make it good. They're gonna make it awesome and reliable. That's the goal for this motor. What do you think about it?
I think we're gonna have a good build. We got a good group of kids here, young adults, I should say. This ain't their first rodeo, so I think we're gonna build you a nice mid-range horsepower engine.
How many motors you rebuilt?
0.
How many motors you rebuilt? How many motors you rebuilt?
4.
4. 0. 0. 0.
I built a few.
Yeah. I blow stuff up, so I can't say anything. Well, thank all you guys. I'm gonna make sure that they're gonna film some stuff, and then we'll load it up for you guys when we come back and pick it up as well. Shouldn't be horrible. I mean,
It's not
probably
hor-
not
it's
great,
horrible.
but it did run. Like, I drove it.
So everything's tight down. 3 here, 2 here, okay? We're gonna worry about the entire. Got a little ridge here, but that's it.
All right, students got that motor all knocked out. Now Billy's gonna take charge of it, get it all machined up, and he'll be putting it back together. But that was pretty fun to watch him work on stuff. He's a pretty good teacher, so worked out good.
Thank you.
And our final surprise, we went down to Albuquerque to pick this young man up who's with us for at least a week. We appreciate you guys watching. If you like this video, check these out. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.